Alright guys, so this is the fourth part of this tractor, and really it's only got 4 parts because I've got to do a head gasket. So we're going to do that on camera, but what I wanted to do first is go over verifying the issue. So what I've already taken all the top end off the motor. I covered that in a previous video, so we don't need to see it again. So I went ahead and got to the point where I can use a shop tool with some air and check to make sure that that's actually what the situation is, and I have verified it. But I'm just going to walk you through the process here. I was waiting for my head gasket. It's been quite a few days to get a head gasket, so shipping is a disaster right now, shipping anything. So this is the head gasket. There, that way. That's the head gasket. So typically where they break is right here. They'll blow out here. So that's where your piston is, the compression and everything goes up there. When the piston goes down on the intake stroke, it's also vacuum. So this area here is where the push rods come up from the bottom of the engine. They go up into the cylinder head, and that's open to the crankcase, so like where your oil is basically. So when it breaks here, the piston goes down, creates a vacuum, pulls oil from here into the top of the piston, burns it away. It can also force compression into the crankcase, so it can make it do all kinds of weird stuff, but that's where they usually go. That's where I think it's blown. So what I did was I hooked up my cylinder leak down tester, checked my videos for a little go over on that. It measures percentage of leakage and it can help you determine where it is. So this is the tool here, but basically all I'm doing is making sure that the engine is at top dead center on the compression stroke, which it is. I turned it around until both valves are loose. Both rockers are loose, which means both valves are closed. And we put a little bit of air in there, and we can hear it. I'm not sure if the camera's hearing it, but I'm definitely hearing it. Let's get you a little closer. There's our push rod. There and there. If you look down inside, you can get a light in there as well. Down in there, way down the bottom, that's your crankcase. So you're hearing the leakage, just like I am. The head gasket is right here. So that's what? Oh, 3.5, 4 inches in. So let's get this rubber tube in there and have a listen. About 4 inches in, so yeah, about there. We're going to bottom it. Noise is definitely changing. It's leaking right there, right at that head gasket. Actually, yeah, you can hear the change. That's right where the head gasket is. I can actually feel the air coming out on the back of my hand here. So we have to remove the intake side off the cylinder head. We have to remove the exhaust side off the cylinder head. And then we got to pop all these bolts out. A few bolts around. Get that cylinder head off. We'll throw it on the bench and have a look. I'm going to see if I can sneak that head off there without taking absolutely everything apart. So if I can just loosen this stuff off, maybe it'll come out. That bolt wasn't even tight. Put a 7/16 socket on it to turn it. It's not even 7/16. You can't roll right out just like that. Okay. And the top one's a 1/2 inch. Again, not even tight. The intake side is 3/8. Those are tight. Well, that intake drops right away. Nice. Gets completely out of our way. Not sure if the exhaust is going to play well. Yeah. Alright. Well, it's out of the way. Now it's just a matter of getting the bolts out. Cylinder head bolts. We'll get those slid out of there. They'll just stay. They are 1/2 inch. I'll pull the bottom ones out first. Wonder if the little driver will do it. It might. Okay. Oh yeah. This is not a very strong driver. Those bolts are not very tight. Looks like I got them all loose. Cylinder head slides right off. We'll take the push rods with it. I'll take it. That's good. And there's our head gasket. Got a light on there? Yeah. That was the suspect area. See a small amount of damage there? You flip her over, it's blown right out. Yep, exactly what I thought it was. Well, that's just rubbish. I gotta clean everything up. I gotta clean the surface. It's leaking oil. You can actually see there's oil in at the bottom of the piston here. I'm gonna clean all this stuff up, razor blade, clean it up, brake clean. Do the same with the cylinder head and we'll start assembling it again. Alright, so I got the gasket surface cleaned to the point where it's good enough. Did the same with the head gasket side of the cylinder head. And I also scraped the silicone off the rocker cover pan, so off that surface anyways. I didn't brake clean it, but because I'm going to get my fingerprints all over it. What I am going to do is I'm going to attempt to install that head without loosening the rockers. I might be able to do it. Maybe not. If not, I'll loosen the rockers or remove the rockers, get the push rods aligned just like I need to, and go from there. But 2 decades flat rate mechanic at a dealership, you find faster ways to do things sometimes. And as long as they don't cause issues or come back down the road, then it's still a valid repair. You can't have it fail, but if you could find a faster, easier, quicker way to do something, you're generally ahead of the game. So right now I'm just trying to get my fingers in there and line up the push rods in their guides. I'm not going to tighten all these bolts, I'm just going to get them started. That'll give me my alignment for my cylinder head. And it will still allow me to pull the head away from the engine a little bit to get the push rods hooked underneath those rocker arms. We're definitely going to check the clearance anyways before we fire anything up, but I'm going to see if I can do it this way without having to reset the valves. So I'm just going to look down there to make sure that the push rod is sitting in the lifter hole where it should be. I can't get you in there, I apologize, but it is what it is. So both the push rods are sit down at the bottom where they need to be sitting. Let's just roll these rockers around. And then when we snug down that cylinder head, because we didn't move anything, the rockers still should be at their loosest position. I'm not tightening these bolts right now, I'm just running them down. Now I'm going to just put an eyeball on it, make sure that the cylinder head's sitting flush on the gasket surface where it should be. Appears to be nice. Yeah, the head's going down nice and flat. I'm just going to run the bolts down. We will torque them with a torque wrench. Still play there, so we know there's nothing binding. Now what could possibly change our clearances here is the thickness of the gasket. So if the gasket is thicker or thinner than the one we took out, that is going to give us a difference in the valve lash. So I gotta look up the spec. Look up the torque spec on this. We'll torque these suckers down. We'll check our valve clearance. Worst comes to worst, it'll be off a couple of thou or whatever. Like, it might be off, but it doesn't matter. But so it can be done without actually loosening the valves. I suppose if you got to set the valves anyways afterwards, it's really a wash. Might as well just take them off. That way it's easier to get stuff aligned, but who knows. Let me find our specs and we'll come back to it. 220 inch-pounds. So I'm just going to go stagger them. I'm sure there's a picture somewhere that tells me exactly how Briggs wants them done. But you can't hurt, you can't go wrong just staggering them like this. $220 inch-pounds is not a lot. $16.5 foot-pounds maybe. And one more time. I usually go around and around till they don't tighten anymore. You see that on the second pass there, they did turn a little. Done. All right. We'll break out the feeler blades and we'll check the valve clearance. I had to move you guys. You're in the way over there. I'm right-handed, so I work this side. Okay, so our spec is 3 to 5 thou on the intake, 5 to 7 on the exhaust. There's our 3. Perfect. There's our 7. A little loose. I'm just going to see if I can tweak that just a little without loosening our lock. Oh, look at that. It's perfect. So the intake didn't change because earlier I set it to 3. And our exhaust, earlier I set it to 7, 6 or 7. There we go. Perfect. It's exactly what we want. So, didn't even need to reset the valves. Would have not have been a big issue if we had to. It's no big deal. It takes a couple of minutes. But I'm happy that we don't have to. Nice. Alright. I'm going to get the intake bolted back on. Get the exhaust bolted back on. Get the valve cover cleaned. Going to buzz that down on the wire wheel where I laid that bead of silicone on it. And then we got some more silicone on it. And heave this old girl back together. Wow, that was fast. Through the magic of YouTube, it's all back together. Really? 10 minutes worth of work to get it the rest of the way back on. So we're going to give her a couple of cranks there. I got the battery back in there. We'll give her a shot here and see if everything fires up for us. see what happens. I'll let it run for about 10 minutes or so idling. Burned out the oil out of the muffler. Seems to run real nice. We gotta put a couple of new bulbs in those headlights. Seems to be okay. I think it'll be alright. We'll shut that off. Starts good, runs good. No more smoke. Seems to be pretty good. Guys, like I said, the part 4 was mainly because of the head gasket. There's one more thing I need to do on that, and what that is the engagement cable for the deck. I think I'll basically just continue this video to make that. Well, no, it's kind of an unusual way for me to end a video, but that mower was sold in a panic. The guy wanted it right away. Like, he was basically in the driveway, wants the mower. So I quickly threw the cable on there, got it fired up, ready for him, and we loaded it up, and off it went. So I don't even have footage of me putting that cable on, but maybe one day we'll get one. Those cables do stretch. It's normal for that spring to get a little tired. The cable stretches. You don't have enough tension on the blade on the blade belt to get it spinning properly. So anyways, this is the end of the video. I didn't get any footage, but thanks for joining me on this one. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Click the button to subscribe. Don't forget to click the bell icon. It'll notify you when I upload new videos. And until the next one, guys, take care.